The coin sitting in your pocket right now could be worth far more than 1 cent. Most people would never give a second glance to a 2001 Denver Mint Lincoln penny. They spend it, drop it in a jar, or leave it forgotten in a drawer. But what if one of those ordinary-looking pennies carried a surprising value that collectors are willing to pay for? And what if a tiny mistake made more than 20 years ago turned a common coin into a hidden treasure? Stay with me, because the story of the 2001 D. Lincoln penny is more fascinating than most people realize. The 2001 D. Lincoln penny is one of the millions of pennies produced by the United States Mint in Denver, Colorado. At first glance, it appears to be just another modern penny. It features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, a design that Americans carried in their pockets for decades. Yet every coin tells a story, and this penny is no exception. To understand why collectors pay attention to the 2001 D. Lincoln cent, we need to travel back to the early years of the 21st century. America was entering a new millennium. Technology was rapidly changing daily life, and the U.S. Mint continued producing billions of coins to meet the needs of commerce across the country. The Denver Mint struck more than 4 billion Lincoln cents in 2001. That enormous production number might make the coin seem completely ordinary, and in most cases it is. But history has shown that even coins produced in massive quantities can become valuable when certain conditions are met. The Lincoln cent itself has one of the longest-running designs in American coin history. It first appeared in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Before that year, American coins generally featured symbolic figures rather than real people. Lincoln became the first actual historical figure to appear on a circulating U.S. coin. By 2001, the Lincoln cent design had already been in circulation for more than 90 years. Generations of Americans had carried these coins through wars, economic booms, and historic events. The 2001 D penny became another chapter in that remarkable story. Now let's look at what makes this coin unique. The front of the coin shows Abraham Lincoln facing right. The word liberty appears to the left, while the year 2001 appears to the right. Above Lincoln's portrait is the famous motto, "In God We Trust." Beneath the date is the small D mint mark, indicating that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959. If you look carefully at the memorial, you can actually see a tiny representation of Lincoln sitting inside. It is one of the smallest detailed images ever placed on a circulating U.S. coin. The coin is made primarily of zinc with a thin copper coating. This composition was adopted in the early 1980s to reduce production costs. Although it looks like a solid copper coin, the inner core is mostly zinc. A standard 2001 D Lincoln cent weighs about 2.5 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. These specifications help collectors determine whether a coin is genuine or altered. So if billions were produced, why do collectors care about this penny? The answer lies in condition, rarity within grades, and minting errors. Most 2001 D pennies entered circulation immediately. They were used in stores, vending machines, and cash registers. Over time, they accumulated scratches, discoloration, and wear. As a result, finding a perfectly preserved example today is much harder than many people expect. Collectors place tremendous value on condition. A worn 2001 D penny may only be worth 1 cent. A bright, uncirculated example might be worth a few cents or a few dollars. But when you move into the highest certified grades, values can rise dramatically. Professional grading services evaluate coins using a numerical scale. The closer a coin is to perfection, the higher its grade. Top-grade examples of the 2001 D penny are surprisingly difficult to find because even tiny imperfections can prevent a coin from achieving an elite grade. That is where the excitement begins. Some 2001 D pennies have sold for impressive amounts because they were preserved in extraordinary condition. Collectors seeking registry quality sets compete fiercely for the finest known examples. When two collectors both want the best available coin, bidding can push prices far beyond what most people would imagine for a penny. Then there are the mint errors. Mint errors occur when something goes wrong during the production process. These mistakes are not intentional, and they often create unique coins that attract collector interest. One type of error found on some 2001 D pennies is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank is not positioned correctly when struck by the dies. The result is a coin with part of the design missing and a blank area visible along the edge. Another sought-after error is a die crack. Over time, the dies used to strike coins can develop cracks. These cracks transfer onto coins as raised lines, creating unusual patterns that collectors enjoy hunting for. Some collectors also search for die chips, cut errors, and other striking anomalies. While many of these errors are minor, certain dramatic examples can command strong premiums. Perhaps the most exciting discoveries involve doubled dies. These occur when elements of the design appear doubled because of die manufacturing variations. Collectors carefully inspect lettering, dates, and design features looking for signs of doubling. Not every doubled appearance is valuable, however. Many examples are simply machine doubling, which is much less desirable. Learning the difference can save collectors from costly mistakes. Over the years, examples of high-grade and error 2001 D pennies have appeared at auctions and collector marketplaces. Ordinary circulated pieces generally remain inexpensive. However, exceptional specimens have achieved prices that surprise many people. A certified mint state example in a very high grade can sell for dozens or even hundreds of dollars depending on quality and market demand. Some elite grade pieces have reached significantly higher levels when they rank among the finest known. Error coins can also bring impressive prices. A dramatic off-center strike, major die error, or other unusual variety may attract enthusiastic bidding from specialists who appreciate these production mistakes. Imagine finding a coin worth hundreds of dollars in a roll purchased from a local bank. That possibility is one reason coin roll hunting remains so popular. Collectors search through thousands of pennies hoping to uncover overlooked treasures. Of course, whenever money is involved, authenticity matters. If you believe you have a valuable 2001 D Lincoln penny, there are several things to examine. First, check the mint mark. The coin should display a clear D beneath the date. Altered coins occasionally appear in the marketplace, so inspect carefully for signs of tampering. Next, verify the weight. A genuine 2001 D cent should weigh approximately 2.5 grams. A significant difference could indicate damage, alteration, or another issue. Examine the details under magnification. Look closely at Lincoln's portrait, the lettering, and the Lincoln Memorial. Genuine coins display sharp design elements, while altered pieces may show unusual surfaces or evidence of modification. If you suspect you have a major error or a very high-grade specimen, professional authentication can provide certainty. Reputable grading services evaluate authenticity, assign a grade, and place the coin in a protective holder. Now here is a fun fact that many people don't know. The Lincoln Memorial reverse found on the 2001 penny was nearing the end of its long run. Just a few years later, the United States Mint began preparing special Lincoln cent designs to commemorate the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth in 2009. That means the 2001 D penny belongs to the final chapter of the classic Lincoln Memorial era, a design period that lasted 50 years. Another surprising fact involves the number of pennies Americans save. Billions of cents sit in jars, drawers, piggy banks, and forgotten containers throughout the country. Many have not been examined in years. Hidden among them could be high-grade examples or valuable errors waiting to be discovered. Some collectors enjoy searching through bank rolls specifically for modern Lincoln cents. While finding a major rarity is uncommon, the thrill of the hunt keeps people coming back. Every roll opened creates the possibility of an unexpected discovery. There is also something deeply appealing about Lincoln cents because they connect collectors to American history. Abraham Lincoln remains one of the most respected figures in the nation's past. Every Lincoln cent serves as a small tribute to his legacy. For many collectors, the 2001 D penny represents an affordable entry point into the hobby. Unlike rare coins that cost thousands of dollars, this coin can often be found in circulation or purchased inexpensively. That accessibility allows beginners to learn grading, error identification, and coin preservation without spending a fortune. Experienced collectors appreciate the challenge of finding superb examples. Beginners enjoy the excitement of searching. Together, those factors help explain why interest in modern Lincoln cents remains strong. The story of the 2001 Lincoln penny reminds us that value is not always obvious. What appears ordinary today may become desirable tomorrow. A single coin worth only 1 cent can become a prized collectible because of exceptional preservation, a rare error, or collector demand. So the next time you receive change from a store, take a closer look before tossing those pennies aside. Check the date. Look for the small D mint mark. Examine the surfaces carefully. You might discover a coin that has survived more than 2 decades in remarkable condition. And perhaps somewhere out there, hidden in an old coin jar, a forgotten 2001 Lincoln penny is waiting to be found by someone who recognizes its significance. That possibility is what makes coin collecting so exciting. Every coin has a story. Every pocketful of change holds a mystery. And sometimes, the most ordinary-looking penny can turn out to be the most surprising treasure of all. Before you spend your next Lincoln cent, take a second look. You never know what history, value, or hidden secret might be resting right in the palm of your hand. Have you ever looked at a penny and wondered if it could be worth far more than 1 cent? Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out an ordinary-looking Lincoln penny, and discovering that collectors are willing to pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars for it. It sounds unbelievable, but for some people, that discovery has actually happened. And today, we're talking about a coin that many Americans have seen without realizing it could be hiding surprising value. This is the story of the 2005 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. At first glance, the 2005 Lincoln penny doesn't seem special. It looks like the millions of other pennies that pass through cash registers every day. But beneath its familiar appearance lies a fascinating history, a few valuable varieties, and a growing interest among collectors who are constantly searching for exceptional examples. To understand why this coin matters, we need to go back to 2005. The United States was producing billions of pennies every year to meet the needs of everyday commerce. By this time, the Lincoln cent had already become one of the most recognizable coins in American history. The design featuring President Abraham Lincoln had been in use for nearly a century, making it one of the longest-running coin designs ever produced by the United States Mint. The year 2005 was part of a period when pennies were still heavily used in daily transactions. People carried them in jars, piggy banks, and pockets. Most Americans paid little attention to them. After all, a penny was worth only 1 cent. But collectors knew that even modern pennies could sometimes become valuable because of rare errors, unusual conditions, or low survival examples. The 2005 Lincoln penny was struck at multiple mint facilities. Coins produced in Philadelphia carried no mint mark, while those struck in Denver featured a small D beneath the date. Since today's focus is the no mint mark version, we're talking about the coins made at the Philadelphia Mint. One interesting fact surprises many people. When collectors hear the phrase, no mint mark, they often assume something is missing by mistake. But that's not the case here. For Lincoln cents made in Philadelphia during 2005, having no mint mark was completely normal. Every regular Philadelphia penny from that year was intentionally produced without a mint mark. That means the absence of a mint mark alone does not automatically make the coin rare. Let's first look at the coin itself. The obverse, or front side, features Abraham Lincoln facing right. This portrait was originally designed by Victor David Brenner and first appeared on the Lincoln cent in 1909. Above Lincoln's head appears the national motto, "In God We Trust." The word liberty is found to the left, while the date 2005 appears on the right. The reverse, or backside, displays the Lincoln Memorial. This design had been used since 1959 and shows the famous monument in Washington, D.C. If you look closely, you can even see a tiny representation of Lincoln seated inside the memorial. It's one of the smallest details ever placed on a circulating American coin. The 2005 penny is made primarily of zinc with a thin copper coating. It weighs about 2.5 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. Although it appears copper-colored, most of the coin's core is actually zinc. This composition had been used since the early 1980s as a cost-saving measure. Now here's where things get interesting. Most 2005 no-mint mark pennies are only worth face value. You can still find them in circulation today. But collectors don't simply look for ordinary examples. They search for coins that stand out from the crowd. One factor that dramatically affects value is condition. Think about how many pennies have been handled over the years. They've been dropped, scratched, carried in pockets, and tossed into jars. Because of this, finding a 2005 penny that looks almost exactly as it did when it left the mint can be surprisingly difficult. Coins that receive extremely high grades from professional grading services often command impressive premiums. A common penny in average condition might be worth 1 cent, but a nearly perfect example can sell for tens or even hundreds of dollars. Collectors are especially interested in coins graded mint state 67, mint state 68 or higher. These grades indicate exceptional preservation, strong luster, and very few imperfections. Since so many coins acquire damage during circulation, high-grade survivors become much harder to find. Another reason collectors search through 2005 pennies involves mint errors. Mint errors occur when something goes wrong during the manufacturing process. These mistakes create unusual coins that differ from normal examples. One type of error involves die cracks. Over time, the dies used to strike coins can develop cracks. When this happens, raised lines may appear on the finished coin. Some collectors enjoy finding these unusual features because they provide a glimpse into the minting process. Off-center strikes are another fascinating possibility. If a blank coin isn't properly aligned when struck, part of the design may be missing. Depending on the severity and visual appeal, these errors can attract significant collector interest. Double strikes, clipped planchets, and broad strikes are additional errors that occasionally appear. While they are uncommon, genuine examples can be worth much more than ordinary coins. Perhaps the most exciting discoveries involve dramatic minting mistakes that are easy to see with the naked eye. These are the types of coins that spark bidding wars among collectors. Over the years, certain 2005 Lincoln pennies have sold for impressive amounts when they combined high grades with strong collector demand. For example, professionally graded examples in top mint state condition have sold for well above face value, sometimes reaching hundreds of dollars. Coins with significant errors can sell for even more depending on the rarity and visibility of the mistake. Imagine searching through a jar of spare change and finding a penny that could pay for a nice dinner, a weekend trip, or even more. That's part of the thrill that keeps collectors searching. Of course, whenever money is involved, it's important to know how to identify a genuine coin. If you think you've found a valuable 2005 no-mint mark penny, start by examining the date carefully. Make sure it clearly reads 2005 and that there is no D-mint mark beneath the date. Remember, no mint mark is normal for Philadelphia coins. Next, inspect the coin's surface. Look for unusual features such as doubling, off-center designs, cracks, or other visible abnormalities. A magnifying glass can be extremely helpful during this process. Pay attention to the color and texture as well. Genuine coins should display normal characteristics consistent with U.S. mint production. Be cautious of altered coins where someone may have attempted to create the appearance of an error. Weight can also provide clues. Since the standard weight is approximately 2.5 grams, significant differences may warrant further investigation. For potentially valuable examples, professional authentication and grading are often worthwhile. Experts can determine whether a coin is genuine and assign a condition grade that helps establish market value. Now let's talk about some fun facts that make the 2005 Lincoln penny even more interesting. Many people don't realize that billions of pennies are produced annually, yet only a tiny fraction become highly desirable collectibles. Another fascinating detail is that the Lincoln cent was the first regularly circulating U.S. coin to feature a real historical person. Before 1909, American coinage generally displayed symbolic figures rather than actual individuals. The Lincoln design became so popular that generations of Americans grew up recognizing it instantly. Grandparents, parents, and children have all handled versions of the same basic coin design. There's also the excitement of treasure hunting. Unlike many collectibles that require expensive purchases, valuable pennies can sometimes be found in circulation, coin rolls from banks, estate sales, or forgotten collections. That's one reason coin collecting remains such a popular hobby. The next valuable discovery might be sitting in a drawer, a coin jar, or even a handful of change received at a grocery store. Collectors love the 2005 no-mint mark Lincoln penny because it represents accessibility and possibility. Nearly anyone can search for one. There's no need for specialized equipment or a large investment. All it takes is curiosity, patience, and a willingness to look closely. For some collectors, the appeal comes from assembling complete Lincoln cent collections. For others, it's the thrill of finding high-grade examples or unusual errors. And for many people, it's simply the excitement of turning an ordinary object into an extraordinary discovery. Every coin tells a story. This penny tells the story of American commerce, modern minting technology, and the hidden treasures that can still be found in everyday life. So the next time you receive change, don't ignore those pennies. Take a closer look. Check the dates. Examine the details. You never know what might be hiding in plain sight. That ordinary-looking 2005 Lincoln penny with no mint mark may not always be worth a fortune. Most are still worth just 1 cent. But among the billions produced, a few exceptional examples have become prized collectibles, proving that even the smallest coin can hold a big surprise. And that's what makes coin collecting so fascinating. Every pocketful of change is a mystery waiting to be solved. Every penny has the potential to tell a story. And somewhere out there, another remarkable 2005 no-mint mark Lincoln penny may be waiting for someone curious enough to notice it. The question is, will that person be you? Have you ever picked up a penny from your pocket and wondered if it could be worth far more than 1 cent? Most people ignore pennies every day. They leave them in jars, toss them into drawers, or even walk right past them on the sidewalk. But what if one ordinary-looking penny from 2006 could be hiding a surprising story and, in some cases, a value that would shock most people? Today, we're taking a closer look at the 2006 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a coin that millions of Americans have seen but very few have truly examined. At first glance, it seems completely ordinary. Yet behind this small copper-colored coin lies a fascinating history, collector interest, and even the possibility of valuable errors that can turn a common penny into a sought-after treasure. To understand the 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, we first need to travel back through the history of one of America's most beloved coins. The Lincoln cent first appeared in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Before that, no real person's portrait had ever appeared on a regularly circulating U.S. coin. The decision was groundbreaking and marked a major shift in American coinage. The design featured Abraham Lincoln on the front, created by sculptor Victor David Brenner. On the back were 2 wheat stalks, giving rise to the famous wheat penny series that collectors still treasure today. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent underwent several design changes. In 1959, the wheat stalks were replaced by the Lincoln Memorial. This new reverse design remained in use for nearly 50 years and became one of the most recognizable coin designs in American history. That brings us to 2006. The United States Mint was still producing pennies with the Lincoln Memorial reverse. Billions of cents were needed for everyday commerce, and the Mint worked around the clock to meet demand. During that year, pennies were produced at multiple Mint facilities, including Philadelphia and Denver. The coin we're focusing on today is the 2006 Lincoln penny without a mint mark. For many people, the phrase "no mint mark" immediately sounds rare. After all, shouldn't every coin show where it was made? The answer may surprise you. For Lincoln cents produced in Philadelphia during 2006, no mint mark was intentionally used. That means a 2006 penny with no mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint and is completely normal. In fact, hundreds of millions of them were produced. So if they're so common, why are collectors still talking about them? The answer lies in condition, rarity within grades, and the possibility of valuable mint errors. Let's first examine the coin itself. On the front, you'll see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right. Above his head appears the motto, "In God We Trust." To the left is the word "Liberty," and to the right is the date 2006. If the coin has no mint mark beneath the date, it was made in Philadelphia. Turn the coin over, and you'll find the Lincoln Memorial standing proudly in the center. Above it appears the phrase United States of America, while the denomination 1 cent is displayed below. The motto E pluribus unum stretches across the top. The composition of the 2006 penny is also interesting. While many people still call these copper pennies, the reality is slightly different. By 2006, the coin was primarily made of zinc with a thin copper coating. The composition was approximately 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. This change had actually occurred decades earlier due to rising copper prices. As a result, the penny weighs about 2.5 grams. Now let's talk about value. If you pull a typical circulated 2006 no-mint mark penny from your pocket today, it's usually worth exactly 1 cent. There were simply too many made for ordinary examples to command significant premiums. However, condition changes everything. Collectors use grading systems to determine how well preserved a coin is. A penny that spent years bouncing around in pockets and cash registers will show scratches, wear, and discoloration. But a coin that somehow escaped circulation and remained in pristine condition can become much more desirable. High-grade examples of the 2006 no-mint mark penny have sold for several dollars and sometimes much more, depending on the certified grade. Coins graded at the highest levels by professional grading services are far scarcer than most people realize. Think about it this way. While millions of pennies were struck, very few survived in perfect condition. Every tiny scratch, nick, or imperfection reduces the grade. As collectors compete for the finest known examples, values can climb surprisingly high. But the real excitement often comes from mint errors. Mint errors occur when something unusual happens during the production process. These mistakes create coins that differ from normal examples and can attract strong collector demand. One type of error collectors search for is a double die error. This happens when design elements appear doubled due to issues during die creation. Another possibility is an off-center strike. In these cases, the coin wasn't properly aligned when struck, causing part of the design to be missing. Collectors also look for broad strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and other unusual production anomalies. While most 2006 pennies are ordinary, a genuine error coin can be worth many times its face value. In some cases, error examples have sold for tens or even hundreds of dollars depending on the severity and rarity of the mistake. This is why experienced coin hunters never ignore pennies completely. Many valuable discoveries have been made while searching through rolls from banks, pocket change, and old coin jars. Imagine sorting through a pile of pennies on a quiet evening and suddenly spotting something unusual. Maybe the design looks doubled. Maybe the strike appears off-center. Maybe the coin seems different from all the others. That moment of discovery is one reason coin collecting remains so popular. Now, let's discuss real collector values. Ordinary circulated examples generally remain worth face value. Uncirculated examples can often sell for a few dollars. Certified specimens in exceptionally high grades may command much stronger prices. Error coins represent an entirely different category. Depending on the type of error and collector demand, some examples have sold for substantial premiums compared to ordinary pieces. The key lesson is that value depends on more than just the date. 2 pennies from the same year can have dramatically different prices simply because one is heavily worn while the other is nearly perfect or contains a rare mint error. So how can you identify a genuine 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln penny? Start by checking the date carefully. Look for the year 2006 on the obverse or front of the coin. Next, inspect the area beneath the date. If there is no letter present, such as a D or S, then the coin was struck in Philadelphia. After that, examine the overall design details. Lincoln's portrait should appear sharp and natural. The lettering should be clear and properly formed. Be cautious of altered coins. Some individuals attempt to create fake rarities by modifying coins. They may remove mint marks or alter dates in hopes of deceiving buyers. A magnifying glass can help reveal signs of tampering. Collectors often recommend purchasing valuable examples only from reputable dealers or obtaining coins certified by respected grading companies. Now for a few fun facts. Did you know that billions of pennies cost the government more to produce than their face value? For years, the debate over whether the penny should remain in circulation has continued. Yet despite these discussions, the Lincoln cent remains one of America's most recognizable coins. Another fascinating detail involves the Lincoln Memorial reverse. If you look very closely at the reverse of a Lincoln Memorial cent, you can actually see a tiny representation of Abraham Lincoln sitting inside the memorial. This means Lincoln appears on both sides of the coin at the same time, a remarkable design feature many people never notice. The 2006 penny also arrived during an interesting period in American coin history. Just a few years later, the Lincoln cent would undergo significant reverse design changes as part of the bicentennial celebration of Lincoln's birth. That makes the 2006 issue one of the final years of the long-running Lincoln Memorial design era. Collectors appreciate it as part of the closing chapter of a design that had been circulating since 1959. So why do collectors still love the 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln penny today? Part of the appeal comes from accessibility. Almost anyone can start searching for these coins without spending a fortune. Another reason is the thrill of the hunt. Every roll of pennies carries the possibility of uncovering a high-grade example or an unexpected error. Collectors also enjoy assembling complete date and mint collections of Lincoln cents, and the 2006 Philadelphia issue remains an important piece of that puzzle. Most importantly, coins like this remind us that history can be found in everyday places. A penny may seem insignificant. It might sit unnoticed in a cash register, beneath a couch cushion, or at the bottom of a jar. Yet each one carries a story of American manufacturing, commerce, and design. The next time you receive change, take a closer look at the pennies in your hand. You might spot a 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln cent. Most will be worth exactly 1 cent. But hidden among millions of ordinary examples could be an exceptional survivor, a fascinating mint error, or a coin that collectors would eagerly add to their collections. And that's what makes coin collecting so exciting. You never know when an ordinary-looking coin might reveal an extraordinary story. So before you spend your next penny, examine it carefully. Because the smallest coin in your pocket could be hiding a secret that most people overlook every single day. And who knows? The next valuable discovery might already be sitting in your change jar, waiting for someone curious enough to notice it. What if I told you that a penny sitting in your pocket right now could be worth far more than 1 cent? Most people ignore pennies. They toss them into jars, leave them in cup holders, or forget about them completely. But every once in a while, an ordinary-looking Lincoln penny turns into a collector's dream. And one coin that has sparked plenty of curiosity over the years is the 2007 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Is it rare? Is it valuable? Could one be hiding in your change right now? Stay with me because the answer might surprise you. The 2007 no mint mark Lincoln penny is one of those coins that many people encounter every day without realizing it. At first glance, it looks like a normal penny. It has Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Nothing seems unusual about it. Yet thousands of collectors search through rolls of pennies hoping to find examples that stand out from the rest. To understand why this coin attracts attention, we need to go back to 2007. The United States Mint was producing billions of pennies each year. Pennies remained an important part of everyday commerce, and Americans used them constantly for cash transactions. During that year, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint worked around the clock striking enormous quantities of Lincoln cents. The Lincoln cent itself has a rich history. It first appeared in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Before that, American coins typically featured symbolic figures rather than real people. Lincoln became the first actual person to appear on a circulating U.S. coin. More than a century later, his portrait remains one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. The 2007 penny belongs to the long-running Lincoln Memorial series. This design was introduced in 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. On the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial replaced the familiar wheat ears design that collectors know as the wheat penny. For 50 years, Americans carried these memorial cents in their pockets before the design changed again in 2009. Now let's talk about that phrase that catches everyone's attention. No mint mark. Many people hear no mint mark and immediately assume the coin must be rare. After all, if something is missing, it sounds unusual. But in the case of the 2007 Lincoln penny, a missing mint mark is actually normal. Here's why. Pennies produced at the Philadelphia Mint traditionally carried no mint mark for most of their history. Coins struck in Denver display a D mint mark. Coins struck in San Francisco may carry an S mint mark if they are proof coins. But ordinary circulation pennies made in Philadelphia during 2007 were intentionally produced without any mint mark at all. That means every regular 2007 Philadelphia penny is technically a no mint mark coin. So if millions and millions were made, why are collectors still interested? The answer lies in condition, rarity within grades, and mint errors. Most 2007 pennies entered circulation immediately. They passed from one person to another, getting scratched, worn, and damaged over time. After years of use, many examples show significant wear. Finding one in pristine condition is much harder than finding an ordinary circulated piece. Collectors are always searching for coins that look as if they were struck yesterday. A flawless penny with bright, original luster can command a premium because so few survive in that condition. Let's take a closer look at the coin itself. The front, known as the obverse, features Abraham Lincoln facing right. The word liberty appears to his left. The date 2007 appears to his right. Above Lincoln's head is the famous motto "In God We Trust." The reverse displays the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. If you look closely, Lincoln's statue can actually be seen inside the memorial. This tiny detail makes the Lincoln cent unique. For many years, it was the only circulating U.S. coin that showed the same person on both sides. The coin is composed primarily of zinc with a thin copper coating. Since 1982, most Lincoln cents have been made this way. While they appear copper-colored, their inner core consists mainly of zinc. The coin weighs approximately 2.5 grams and has a diameter of about 19 millimeters. Now let's discuss the feature that excites collectors most. Errors. Mint errors occur when something goes wrong during the production process. These mistakes can transform a common coin into a highly desirable collectible. Some 2007 pennies have been discovered with off-center strikes. This happens when the coin blank is not properly aligned during striking. Part of the design may be missing while the remaining portion appears shifted. Others display die cracks, which are raised lines caused by cracks in the metal dies used to strike coins. There are also doubled die varieties where certain letters or numbers appear doubled. These can be difficult to identify, but collectors carefully examine coins under magnification looking for such characteristics. Occasionally, pennies are found with clipped planchets, broad strikes, or other unusual production errors. When authenticated by professional grading services, these error coins can sell for far more than face value. So what is the actual value of a 2007 no mint mark Lincoln penny? For a typical circulated example, the value is generally 1 cent. That's right. Most examples remain worth their face value because so many were produced. However, condition changes everything. A bright, uncirculated example may sell for a small premium. Higher-grade examples certified by professional grading companies can command significantly stronger prices. Some near-perfect specimens have sold for tens of dollars. Exceptional examples with outstanding preservation have sold for over $100. The rarest top population pieces, meaning the finest known examples graded by major services, have achieved even higher prices when collector demand is strong. Error coins can be worth much more. Depending on the type and severity of the error, values may range from a few dollars to hundreds of dollars. In rare cases, dramatic and visually appealing errors attract intense bidding from collectors. Imagine finding a penny in a bankroll that turns out to be a valuable mint error. That's exactly the kind of discovery that keeps treasure hunters searching through coins every day. But how can you tell whether your coin is genuine? First, examine the date carefully. It should clearly read 2007. Look at the overall design and compare it with verified examples from reliable sources. Next, check the area below the date. If there is no mint mark, that usually indicates the coin was struck in Philadelphia. Pay attention to the coin's weight. Genuine 2007 cents should weigh around 2.5 grams. A significant difference could indicate damage, alteration, or a counterfeit. Study the surfaces under good lighting. Counterfeit coins often show unusual textures, casting marks, or inconsistent details. If you believe your coin has an important error or is in exceptional condition, consider having it evaluated by a professional grading service. Authentication can provide confidence and help determine its true market value. Here's a surprising fact many people don't know. The Philadelphia Mint produced billions of pennies in 2007. That's billions with a B. If you stack them one on top of another, the tower would reach astonishing heights. Yet despite such massive production, collectors still search through them one by one looking for the rare gems hidden among ordinary coins. Another fascinating detail involves Lincoln himself. The Lincoln cent has outlasted countless other coin designs. Generations of Americans have carried Lincoln pennies through world wars, economic booms, technological revolutions, and the transition into the digital age. The 2007 penny also belongs to the final years of the Lincoln Memorial reverse design. Just 2 years later, in 2009, the Mint introduced special bicentennial designs celebrating different stages of Lincoln's life. That gives the 2007 cent a place near the end of a historic chapter in American coinage. Collectors love this coin because it represents something bigger than its face value. It proves that valuable discoveries don't always come from ancient treasure chests or expensive auctions. Sometimes they come from a handful of loose change. There's also the thrill of the hunt. Every penny searched creates the possibility of finding a pristine specimen, a rare error, or a coin that somehow escaped years of wear. That excitement keeps collectors checking coin jars, bank rolls, and pocket change day after day. For beginners, the 2007 no-mint mark penny offers an easy entry into the hobby. It's affordable, widely available, and packed with history. For advanced collectors, high-grade examples and unusual errors present a challenge worth pursuing. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson this little coin teaches us. Things that appear ordinary on the surface can hold hidden stories, unexpected value, and fascinating history. So the next time you receive change from a store, don't ignore those pennies. Take a closer look. Check the date. Examine the details. You never know what might be waiting there. That ordinary-looking 2007 no-mint mark Lincoln penny could simply be worth 1 cent. Or it could be a remarkable survivor in exceptional condition. It might even contain an error that collectors would love to own. The only way to know is to look. And somewhere right now, in a forgotten coin jar, an old piggy bank, or a handful of pocket change, another interesting Lincoln penny is waiting to be discovered by someone curious enough to pay attention.